I am Pavni Jagarlamudi representing ACE Career Consultants. We are career consultants and education counselors. We help students get student visas and candidates looking for a settlement in Australia, Canada. We assist them for the entire visa process. And now, to begin with, why study in Australia? So here we go. Why study in Australia? Why study in Australia? Before we proceed, I just wanted to tell you who we are. As I said, we are certified career counselors, and we are training. We give training for students for English programs and to make sure they get proper visa and proper visa assistance. We have our certified counselors who are well trained to counsel our students in the appropriate way. For example, there are students who have done their bachelor's in commerce with computers as one of the subjects, and now they want to switch the program, right? And they would look for right appropriate platform to switch their opportunities, or just to understand what kind of mindset are they currently into, what is that they're looking at, what is the country of destination for the higher studies that they're taking up would really give them an opportunity to settle or no. So we counsel them accordingly and give them appropriate options to choose their higher education. We are officially partner with the British Council and Pearson. We have branches in Sydney, Hyderabad, Vizag, Kadapa, Kurnool, Tirupati, and Punjab. Sydney being, the global office, global head, and Hyderabad being, admissions head, right, for all the operations. And we assist candidates looking for a permanent residency in Australia and Canada as well. And as I said, what do we do? As I said, we counsel the students, do their application process, assist them with the documentation process, help them arrange the documentation in an appropriate way, give them proper visa guidance, prepare them for the departure. And we just don't stop there. We make sure that they land there safe, and we'll make sure that they are comfortable there. And if there is anything that they need in regards to part-times or accommodation services or airport pickup, anything, we're just a call away. And to start with Australia, this is the political map of Australia. We have 6 states and 2 union territories. Western Australia being, the biggest state, very popular for mining. And we have Northern Territory, South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Canberra and Tasmania being the union territories. Here is, Canberra, the capital city of Australia. Whenever somebody says Australia, the first thing comes up in everybody's mind is, the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, right? So there are many who say, what is the capital of Australia? They say, it's Sydney. But no, it is not Sydney. However, it is Canberra, which is the capital, the Union Territory. A beautiful city. And these are, the popular cities in Australia. After Sydney, we have Melbourne, then Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth. There are very, very, very beautiful places to be in. So why Australia? What is Australia different from any other country? Why do I have to look at Australia? Australia has got great, World Heritage sites. It has got hundreds of years of heritage, which is really protected and kept up. It has unique species, kangaroos, koalas, very, very dangerous spiders, snakes, and there are a few creatures available only in a particular state of Australia, like Tasmania. We have Tasmania wild goose. So we have different animals, and I mean, we have different flowers, bottle brush flower, bluebells, and these are very unique, which are found majorly in Australia. And the first thing that comes up for anybody Australia is tourism. Beautiful beaches. Beaches, everybody, you know, will first thing comes up is Bondi Beach. And if you all remember, when we, you know, the Dil Chahta Hai, which shows when they say it's Goa, but it's not Goa, it was all shot in Bondi Beach, one of the best beaches globally. We have many national parks that are available, very old and popular world, national parks like Uluru National Park, which is like, you know, it is one of the World Heritage Sites, which has around 600 million years old monolith, you know. And we have beautiful Blue Mountains and national parks like Kakadu National Park, and many other. And the very best, the thing that we can talk about is the Great Barrier Reef. It has got very big waves, and surfing is majorly happen there. And people say coral sea pearls, coral sea. This is where the coral sea is, the Great Barrier Reef. And it's such a transparent water you get to see there. Even satellites sitting right in the space can see through the water. That clear the water is. And why the coral sea pearls are so popular? Because of the big tides there. They're very popular for surfing as well. Surfing sports happen there. And we have Great Ocean Road. I mean, that's beauty. And one side of the road you get to see the sea, and the other side you get to see huge mountains, very beautiful and pretty mountains you see. And that road is not just for a small distance. It's like very long distance that you travel, right? And we have white sand beaches. See, these are typical Australian animals. As I said, koalas and kangaroos, very pretty animals they are. And I always wish, why am I not like a koala? You know why? Because koalas sleep for 18 to 22 hours. Lucky them, isn't it? And kangaroos are pretty adorable animals. And very dangerous spiders are found in Australia. And it is mandate for children to learn first aid for snake bite and spider bites during the school age. It's very because the snakes there are very dangerous. Even spiders there are very huge. You find very huge spiders there. And the wildlife is also very popular there. The total coastal line itself is 59,000 kilometers. It's like a very big part of its, the Australia, right? And not only that, Australia has got, very popular actors and actresses like Kate Blanchett, Hugh Jackson, Heather Ledger, the famous singer, artists, and, you name it, we have it. And then next we moving to why study, in Australia, why Australia as your study destination, right? It has got very high quality of education, very high quality of education. Australia's more. So- okay, well, let's start with the popular English-speaking country. Why Australia is? It's because it is very popular. Uh, Basically, when students travel from India, they would make sure that they're wherever they are going, they will not have any disturbances to settle there, to work there, or to understand if the other person is talking to them, scolding them, or blabbering just like that. So English speaking. So usually people from here prefer an English speaking country, and Australia is third popular English speaking country for international students. They prefer Australia because the very major region is it is a tropical region. You know why? Australia is the northern section of Australia has more tropical influence climate. It's neither hot nor humid. In summers also, it's very pleasant. It's quite warm and it's very dry in winters. While the southern part are cooler during the midsummers and cool sometimes. And at times, the winters we see rain in the winters, and it is very pleasant atmosphere to live in. So it is not like you can't see snow until unless you go to the real peak sea, the different complete regional part of it. And in main cities you can never see sun above 35 degrees. You cannot see a climate which is dropping below 8 or 5 degrees to the max, right? And very safe atmosphere for international students, right? Australia takes very serious and safety of looks after the safety of international students studying in Australia, right? Australia is one among those safest countries with the least homicide rate in the world. And Australia alone has two best cities to live in under 10, ranked under 10 globally. Sydney and Melbourne, both these cities are ranked globally under 10. And Melbourne, is rated as Australia's top city for students. It is very comfortable for students to get accommodated there. And you know what? Melbourne alone has 270,000 students studying in universities, and one third, which is 91,000, are international students. That itself shows how international students are attracted to live, in Melbourne. And very good thing to study in Australia is scholarships. We every almost every university offers scholarships for almost every student. See, whenever it comes to scholarships, there are many students who think scholarships are only for those students who really top, who get those big numbers, who get those huge percentages. No, Australia offers scholarships. Yes, I don't say no, academic performances should be given priority. Yes, they do. But they make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to grab that. And they even give, it's not like, if you have 90% in bachelor's, I straight away give you 50%. And you know what? They give you even up to 100%. If you can prove that, why is that 100% scholarship has to be given to you, they give you the 100% scholarship also. And as I said, they give opportunity to every individual, like the percentage base, the bigger the better, right? And work rights, scholarship opportunity, as I said, we get good scholarships for everybody, the bigger the better. Work rights for students, every student, every international student who is going to Australia are eligible to work 40 hours fortnight, right? And that is during the semester. And after the semester, they can work full time, unlimited hours. They need to file the taxation, and they can work unlimited hours during the semester break. Cultural diversity. Total Australian population is around somewhere around 23.4 million or so, right? And the best part is it's one of the most culturally and linguistically diverse populations in the world. And around the best part is around 3% of Australians are identified as being Aboriginals. Aboriginals are nothing but the kind of tribes, the authentic, the origins of Australians, the tribes. And 45% have reported that at least one parent are born overseas, which means they have so much of migration. It is multicultural, multilingual, and they are open for every culture. And they're very friendly natives. They don't restrict somebody. They look at a Muslim, a Hindu, a Christian, a Jew in a same manner. They respect every culture. They participate in every cultural activity. In fact, there are many Aussies in all different clubs, like Hindu clubs, Muslim clubs, the South Indians, the North Indians, they have their different clubs. And in Australia, they make sure they celebrate every festival. The Chinese festival, the Chinese New Year is celebrated really big. Diwali is one of those beautiful festivals that they celebrate, right? So they always make sure that they give priority to every citizen living there, to every country, just like a citizen that is living there. And very importantly, they give they've got the high quality of education. The education system is always been upgrading themselves. They have many Nobel Prize winning scientists. We have many Prize winning scientists from Australia. And different, we have different type of providers. Like, what is a provider? Provider is nothing but a university who provides, or institution or an organization who is providing education, right? There are around 43 universities in Australia, and from which they have different providers, like a group of eight. Why is it called group of eight? There are 8 universities in Australia alone who are standing under 100, which are under 100 globally. From which they made another segregation, like from the 40 universities, they have few more segregations, like 80 Australian technical universities, under which they spend a lot on technology, like RMIT, UTS, QUT. These universities provide a lot of technical stuff. They compete with global universities in technical fests. And we have few public universities which are funded by government, and they're like CDU, Darwin, Charles Darwin, Newcastle, Southern Cross University, and so on. We have few private universities also, like Torrens, Bond, and Notre Dame. We have it's not only about the universities who will provide education there. We have few institutions like TAFE. TAFE is nothing but technical and further education, who provide technical education like diplomas, starting from 3 months program to a 3-year program, right? That depends on the specialization that the student is really looking at. And we have few private colleges also, or who can offer only a diploma. A college cannot offer a degree to any student. That could be a bachelor's or a master program. A college or a provider can only provide the diplomas. Only a university has the authority to provide, to you know offer a student with a degree. And how would we know? How would we sit in India, and how would we know what university is correct? What if how would a student know if the program that he's choosing is really would is really good for an international student for his better future or no? So they have their own guidelines in place. There is something which is called CRICOS. CRICOS is an Australian, it's a Commonwealth Register of international, institutions and courses for overseas students. If a program doesn't have a CRICOS code, a student cannot study that program, right? And most of the universities and all the programs offered to international students will have a CRICOS code, right? So there is, if a program that somebody is studying has a CRICOS code, which means that is registered and the degree is, recognized globally. Well, and options to package the program. There are many who doesn't know this. So they think, if you have to travel to an international destination to study, you either have to take up a bachelor degree or a master degree. No, that is not true. See, consider I myself have a technical degree. I have passed my engineering, a 4-year degree in computers, whereas I am now very much interested to switch to a different program, which is like a business program, wherein I don't have any business background at all. I only have a management skills and technical skills. And now how do I go there to study a business program? So since I don't have a relevancy, they would first offer me a pathway program which where I can do a diploma before my master's, and then with the basic ground information that I learned from the diploma, I can move to complete business sector, right? And it's vice versa. A business student can move to IT, a IT student can move to business, mechanical, chemical, and mining. So, and there are few where we have restrictions, like the mining, chemical, health sciences. These programs have restrictions, but there are few programs who are open to for a student to move. And it is very, very important to make sure that a student is moving to a same level, right? I mean, for example, a student is going for a master program and he cannot switch back to a bachelor program. It's called AQL, Australian Qualification Levels. So as per those levels, he can move to a same level or a higher level, but not a lower level. If he wants to move to a lower level, they will again have to file the visa, right? And there is a very good opportunity for somebody going for masters can carry their spouse, can take their spouse along with them. They there are many countries who restrict traveling along with the family, but Australia doesn't have any problem until unless you provide the profile very clear and show them the intention of your spouse traveling. And there are and when we are discussing about these packages, it's not only about irrelevancy of the program. It is even for those students who is not meeting the entry requirement. That could be English or subject. If it is English, student has to package with ELICOS. ELICOS is an English language provided by the student by the university or the college themselves. And first, before the student enrolls into the main course, they will have to finish this course and then get into the next level. And they're not restricted to club only one or two programs. They can do it two or three or four, provided it is justifying, right? It's just not like that, for one semester I want to do a commerce, the second semester I want to do a IT, third semester I want to move to electronics, or no, we cannot do by like that. It has to be in a proper order. Post-study work rights, which is very, very, very important for students who really look for higher education. See, nobody would really want to just invest a huge amount, just study and come back. They rather look for returns on the investments, isn't it? So post-study work rights is one good opportunity for somebody to really prove their skills of whatever they have learned. Are they? And anyways, the Australian graduation, the Australian universities will make sure that the student is work ready graduate with the internship and everything. In the same time, they come out and make sure whatever they have learned in the university, they put it up in the real life, and they get to work in the industry for up to 3 years. And they don't restrict students to just to get into the same industry that they have studied. For example, a student from a commerce background have completed his bachelor's in commerce, and he's now interested in IT. If he has got a job in IT and he's really able to give the best in it, he can proceed. However, that reflects at a later stage when when he will really have to prove why is that he switched, and does he really have that skill to give the 100% in the job, right? And we have an option to for every student. Australia has a specific rule here. Until unless a student studies a 2-year degree, he would not be eligible for post-study, right? And the post-study would be 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, or 2 plus 4. Yani ki 2 years of the degree can give him up to 4 years of post-study. And how? I'll tell you very shortly. eligibility to get permanent residency. Every student who studied in Australia have an option to get settled in Australia, and that have a different criteria. We will discuss about it. As I said, Australia is now offering up to 4 years of post-study. How? You will have to choose a regional area. What is a regional area? If you study a 2-year degree from a regional area, not from a major city, if you go to a regional Australia and study there, you will be eligible for a post-study work, right? Regional areas are nothing but, the low population growth metropolitan areas. We have these regional areas in every state. Like in New South Wales, we have everywhere except Sydney, Newcastle, Central Coast, and Wollongong. As I said, 2+3. There are 2+2, 2+3, 2+4. And there are few areas like Newcastle and Wollongong, which are not the very major cities, but they are also metropolitan cities. So these cities will, students studying in these cities will get them 3 years of post-study. And all the other areas apart from Sydney will definitely get them 4 years or 3 years of extended stay in Australia with full work rights. Northern Territory, everywhere in the territory. Yani ki if a student is studying in Northern Territory, the entire territory, they get extended post-study work rights, except the capital city, they get 3 years. Queensland, everywhere except the Great Brisbane area and the Gold Coast. Awesome. Gold Coast is an awesome place to be. South Australia, everywhere in the state. Adelaide is also one of those nice places to be. And when you're talking throughout about studying in Australia, but you might have a question like, how much would it cost? Yes, I am coming there. Cost of living in the education cost. As I said, if somebody is not meeting the entry requirement of English and they can package their program with English and the main course, that would cost them somewhere around $350 to $450 per week, depending on the length. There are few students who might be given the program for 4 weeks, some might be given for 6, some might be given for 8, depending on the bands that they score, the English the English exam that they take up, how many ever bands they get, that multiplies the weeks that they're going to take up. And there is a limitation for it as well. And undergraduate bachelor degree would cost somewhere around 20,000 to 35,000 per annum, and this fees keep varying annually, right? And masters would cost them 12,000 to 40,000, and there are few cases where it might go a little high or a little low as well. UNSW has a master degree, which is an MBA, which would cost not less than 1 crore. I mean it, yes, it's almost 1 crore. So we have that expensive programs also, and it's worth doing. UNSW is University of New South Wales, which is one of the top, one of the universities under 100, which is Geo 8. Living expenses, and how much would it cost living there in Australia. So any international students, as I said, can work 40 hours fortnight during the semesters and during the semester break. And they can expect to earn at least 19.2 AUD to 25 AUD, which is highest paid globally. When you compare the minimum wages of any country, Australia is standing top. Yes. Yani ki a student who works at least an hour would make not less than $20, right? And bachelor programs are 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. Bachelor 2 years is nothing but for those who have done a diploma and who's doing it on a fast track. And 3 years is a regular bachelor's. 4 years is, what we call, I'm sorry, 4-year bachelor's or honor degrees. And the masters, we usually have for 2 years, and the thesis can be extended to 3 years. Right, living expenses, if we look at the schedule, the column given here, it would cost somebody for 8 months somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200, where they can earn 1,500 to 1,200. For 4 months full time, they can earn up to 5,000 to 7,500, and living expenses remain the same though, right? So the savings are always there for students right from the day they step in. They can make their own living, they can save. If ever they really plan it well, they can even save for their next semester fees too. And how do we do the application process? How do we take this up? It's a very simple and properly formatted application process. But every application should have a statement of purpose, which plays a very major role for Australian application. Statement of purpose is, what is your purpose of studying in Australia? What research have you made? Do you know what program are you studying? Why are you studying? Where are you studying? So if you're able to answer all these questions and convince the case officer, that's very important. And along with the application, SOPs are mandated for most of the universities, and for a few universities it is okay if we would submit them at a later stage also. And once we make the application along with the SOP, we get a conditional offer, and then student has to clear a GTE. GTE is nothing but a genuine temporary entrance. They just wanted to make sure that student is genuine in the first place and entering their country for a temporary purpose, which is study and live there for utilize the post-study work rights, make his own paths, and then he has to come back. His intentions are to come back or settle, is what they really want to know. And very importantly, they will have to show the financials, which means, is the family financially stable in home country to support their studies and living while they are in Australia, right? And they have a lengthy list of documents that they need, that a student need to show to prove their financial ability. And once the student clears a GTE, he will first have to pay the first semester fees and the health insurance, which is a very mandate payment that one has to do to cover their health for the rest of the time that they're going to be in Australia. Initially, that will be given only for the length of the program that one is taking. And once the payment is done, they will move, we will get an unconditional uh, unconditional offer, and then we can proceed to the next level, which is student has to get the medicals done. And once everything is done, we get a confirmation of enrollment. Post payment, we get a confirmation. Without a confirmation of enrollment, one cannot file a visa. It's not just that student has made the payment, everything is done, we got an approval, we got a clear offer from university, and we cannot proceed to the next level. We will have to get a confirmation of enrollment, which will be released in association both with the university and the the High Commission, the border protection, the Australian government. And then we can file a visa where we can expect the outcome in a minute, in a month, or 45 days, or that completely depends. So it's usually 45 days officially. So visa is a very, very important thing that we will have to keenly look at. We need to show funds and the fee payment confirmation, and the academic progression, medicals, online. For these are the documents that we really need to put up for visa, and we will have to arrange them in order and submit it to the visa officer, right? And this is an online complete online visa that we do, and there is no physical interaction with any visa officer. Your statement of purpose is the only interaction between a student and the visa officer. And it's just not that we just put up the documents and my work is done. No, we will have to put the documents in a real proper format that the case officer is really impressed. The first thing, as I've been stressing, is insisting on is statement of purpose. A statement of purpose should clearly be written with in students' own terminology. It cannot be plagiarized, or it cannot be somebody else's views or opinions. It has to be students' opinions. Student must have a clear idea of what is written in SOP, what must be written in the SOP, and how it must be formatted. And then the student's profile also, plays a very major role. If a student has completed his, commerce bachelor's and wants to go for a health sciences, that doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense. Why is that a student really want to switch his program? And if you can convince the university also for an offer, and here comes a very important role play. You will have to convince the case officer also to get a entry into the country. Just an offer in hand will not give you an entry into the country. So it plays a very major role to convince the case officer. So everything has to be in line. Students profile, English proficiency, it's very, very important to have English. Since it is an English speaking country, even they should have the confidence, yes, this guy or the girl who comes into my country understands my language, can really interact with my citizens well or no, right? And strong financial support. Financials have a huge list, a big list of documents that we will have to submit to the High Commission to get an approval for somebody to get into the country, just to make sure that university needs that assurance. Sorry, High Commission needs that assurance that somebody who gets into the country really is not out of the money all of a sudden. Does he really have a source to support his education, to support his living, if ever is not able to get any job? Jobs are not gifted, my dear. It has to be earned. If a student is not really able to get the job, and he should have a backup to support his living, right? So only in that context, government is very keen about funds in Australia. I see that you say you are 40 years old and you are looking for a health sciences program, isn't it? I just wanted to understand when was that you have completed your bachelor's, and what have you been doing throughout, right? So I need to understand your profile before giving you the suggestions. See, we have a few scenarios where we have got visa for a 48-year-old also. It's just that we need to show the relevancy and justify the gap and justify the reason why is that you want to travel or study at this point of time, and what is your main motto behind the study at this particular time. Hope this answers your question, and you can contact us on our contact details as you see on the screen, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. So I see Chetan, GRE is not required for Australia. Only IELTS, PTE or TOEFL would do the needful. Yeah, Harsh, education loan taken on unsecured property, usually Australian High Commission would not accept funds without any source. And the funds will definitely, we will have to show the source of funds that we are going to produce. And it has to be, it has to be on a collateral property. Without collateral property, they don't accept. If ever they accept, that cannot be more than 6.5 or 7 lakhs. You're trying to compare the living expenses with USA and Australia. Definitely with the dollar price of Australia and Canada, Australia is somewhere around 48 today, and USA is somewhere around 74. So there is a huge difference in the dollar value, and the cost of living is comparatively low in Australia when compared to USA. Mukesh, I see you're looking at a research program, isn't it? A research program needs, thesis, and that's altogether a different application that we will have to make to the university. We cannot just get you an admit. However, you will have to be prepared with your thesis and publications. If we have your thesis and publications in place, we will have to look for a professor for you, and then we can take it forward. And if ever you are really working in towards a great project, you can even be funded right, by the university itself. So for which you will have to prove that, what is that you have made a research on, and you should be ready with your thesis and presentations and publications, I'm sorry. So if you already have a supervisor, you can make an application. You will have to take a approval letter from your supervisor, Mukesh, and then you can proceed with the regular application. What university have you, you have the, the approval from? Okay, I see you got it from Curtin. Cool. Once you get the approval, then you can, proceed with the application. You can make an application to the Curtin directly, and then you can proceed, or you can send all the documentation part to us, and then we can take it forward. We are available on WhatsApp. This is our website. You get our email IDs also. Or if you can ping us on WhatsApp, I will give you a mail ID where you can share all your documents, and we can help you with the, the application process. Ovi, I see that you're looking for working in Australia. So getting a work permit to Australia is really not that easy, and at this point of time, it is getting tougher. So if you will meet the academic requirement, you can actually try for a student visa. And once you complete your programs, and you don't have to do a master program or a bachelor's, you can even try for a diploma. A 1-year program also is, we can help you with, the admissions and everything. And we can show you what best can be done to get, the extensions to stay back. So we are just a call or a ping away. Just make a note of our number. We will get back to you. Just ping us on WhatsApp. Australia is a very good destination for, the major skill that Australia is looking for is social service, health sciences, teaching, IT, core engineering, and these are the programs that always one will have an opportunity to survive or sustain in Australia. Yes, Vishu, as I said, we will not just get you a visa in hand and say goodbye. We will definitely assist you with, the post arrival. Also, as I mentioned, we have our office in Sydney, and we have our associate offices throughout Australia. So whichever country you choose to, whichever state you choose to, study in, we will help you talking to, putting you through our previous students. We will see to it that, you're comfortable in that place. We will, even before you land there, if you want to talk to any of your students also, we are completely okay with it. We will see, because we have many students who have previously traveled almost to all states in Australia. So we have our students there, and we can put you to them. And if your parents want to talk to them also, we are okay with it. And we have one of our bosses sitting in Australia. So if anybody wants any assistance, is just a call away. So we are working for you in India and Australia as well. As I said, as we discussed, scholarships completely depend on your academic performance and your previous education, as well the program that you are looking for, right? So for example, see, a chemical engineering program is offered a straight away 25% scholarship, no matter what your academic background is. Whereas a business program is offered only a 10% from the same university, right? That completely depends on, the program that you're choosing, the university that you're choosing, and, there are many segments into it. So, but one thing that that I can very confidently tell you is, we will get you scholarship. Ovi, if you have all the documents in place, I can show you one of my students whose process was completed just in 18 days. Yes, I mean it. From the time he visited our office, submitted his documents, processed his application, made payment to, submitted financials, got offer, got visa, everything within 18 days. And if everything is in place, we can get it as fast as possible. And if you have to arrange for it, that might go up to 3 months or more. For a 4-year degree in Australia, that you are looking for the total cost involved. That completely depends on the university that you're choosing, the city that you're going to live, the program that you're going to take up, and the planning that you're going to make. So as we mentioned in our slides, it might cost you somewhere around 25,000 to 35,000 a year. Hope all your questions are answered. If any, you can put up in the question box here, or you can ping us on WhatsApp. The number that you see on the screen is our contact number and WhatsApp number. We are available during the business hours, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST. Okay, thank you all as well for being patient and attending the session.